Football season is finally underway, and if you play fantasy football, the odds are you probably already hate your team and wish you could draft again. On FanDuel, you can draft a new team every week. Plus, FanDuel has never been more fun or easier to play. If you're not a fantasy expert, then FanDuel is clearly the place to play. FanDuel has something for everyone, and there are more ways to win than ever before. FanDuel has a new tool called Guru to help you pick your lineups so you can make smarter picks and feel more confident going into game day. They've made it easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or bragging rights. Are you listening to me? New users get a $20 bonus when they make their first deposit on FanDuel. So come play with me at FanDuel.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A. What's up, everybody? Welcome to the latest edition of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you as I love to do every weekday over the airwaves of ESPN Radio, 250-plus markets across the United States of America, plus ESPN Radio on SiriusXM, Channel 80. Of course, ESPN Radio simulcast live over the national television airwaves of ESPN News. The number to call up, as always, is 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Time for Straight Talk, brought to you by Straight Talk Wireless. Best phones, best networks, no contracts. I am coming at you live from Bear Park. It's atop the Paris Hotel here in Las Vegas, Nevada, right off the Strip. The Paris and Las Vegas site. Obviously, we're in Vegas here because Saturday night, big-time fight going on. Triple G, Gennady Golovkin versus Saul Canelo Alvarez. I will be here. Got a special coming on ESPN2 tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern. Okay, 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific and everything in between over the airways of ESPN2. So it'll be a Stephen A. at Large Sports Center special tonight. Plus, I'll be hosting the Sports Center coverage tomorrow night and Saturday night live from Vegas. But right now, I'm doing a radio show, my radio show. Sorry I couldn't be with you yesterday. Had to make sure I got here. All of those flights being delayed or canceled due to the hurricane situation. That's why I wasn't on the airwaves yesterday. I had to travel out here to Vegas. But I am back here now in the house in full effect, hyped and ready to go. First order of business, let me be clear. I will not forget about my Yankees. I will be talking about them a little bit later on today. Michael K., the one and only Michael K., is coming on the show to talk to us. I'll be getting into that. NFL action is a Thursday night football game. The Baltimore Ravens going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, anybody that knows me knows that I can't stand Thursday night football. I think it dilutes the product. I think as a result it's awful. I don't think you're giving the audience what it deserves, and it doesn't matter to me about the outcome. I can't stand Thursday night football. I am old school. I think Friday nights are for prep players, high school. I think Saturdays are for college students. And I think Sunday and Monday night football is for the NFL. That's it. That's when football should be played. I think that the fact that a Thursday night game is being played rakes my nerves, and the fact that it's the Cincinnati Bengals gets on my nerves even worse. Because when I think about the Cincinnati Bengals, I think about Marvin Lewis. When I think about Marvin Lewis, I think 15 consecutive years as a head coach can't win a damn playoff game, but somehow, some way, you still keep your job. I don't understand that. Now, I'm not going to belabor the rest of the country with that diatribe that I religiously go on, but damn it, I get emotional about it. Because I view America as the greatest country in the world. And if you're the greatest country in the world, in the United States of America, you don't get associated with mediocrity. And if you have a coach that can't win a damn playoff game in 15 years and you still keep retaining him and paying him and keeping him, you're basically giving the citizens of Cincinnati the middle finger, said, the hell with you, we don't care where you're going anyway. That's what you've done. And the fact that you put him on national TV on a Thursday night game further rubs into our face how you feel about the citizens of Cincinnati, Ohio. I don't like it. Baltimore's a different subject. I love the fact that Lamar Jackson is there. I love the fact that Lamar Jackson's going to be used in some role by John Harbaugh. We'll see how that works out. Time will tell. Time will tell. The biggest story to me, though, when we talk about it, I'm looking forward to the Giants-Cowboys this weekend. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm starting to really smile about this NFL season. Now, for those of you who may not know, and I can't imagine anybody who doesn't know this about me, I'm no Cowboys fan. I love their cheerleaders. I must confess, as I digress, I really, really do. The cheerleaders are marvelous. Marvelous, okay? They always have been. They always will be. And damn it, I'm always going to be biased towards the Dallas Cowboy cheerleaders. The football team itself is an entirely different matter. They're walking pieces of mediocrity. They haven't been relevant for damn near a quarter century. They've won about 2 playoff games in that span. And right now, if they lose Sunday night against the New York Giants, there's a good legitimate chance that the Dallas Cowboys ain't going to make the playoffs. Why? Because teams that start off 0-2 in the NFL, 90% of them don't make the playoffs. So I'm salivating at this possibility. But the biggest reason is because of the Dallas Cowboy fan base. As everybody knows, I consider Dallas Cowboy fans, their fans, the most disgusting fan base in the history of the United States of America. I can't stand them. I despise them. Nobody makes me want to vomit more than them. I can't stand a Cowboy fan. There's nothing worse than a Cowboys fan. If a nuclear bomb dropped, 3 things will come out of there. Mice, cockroaches, and a Dallas Cowboy fan. You can book it. I just can't stand them. They make me sick. Dallas Cowboy fans will sit up there and they'll go 1-15 or 3-13 or 5-11. They'll miss the playoffs. They're totally irrelevant. They do absolutely nothing. And then they'll turn around and you know what they'll say? You know we're going to win the Super Bowl next year, right? You know that's what we're going to do, right? I can't stand Cowboy fans, which is why I'm in a very, very good mood because they're in a world of trouble. I think the New York Giants are going to beat them this weekend. I really, really do. I think the New York Giants are going to handle their business. They're going to find a way to knock off the Dallas Cowboys, whether it's Saquon Barkley, it's Eli Manning suddenly looking young again because some of his best games against the Cowboys. Odell Beckham Jr. having his way. Sterling Shepard making a contribution along with Evan Ingram. Eric Flowers being able to hide enough to disguise the fact that he shouldn't be on the damn roster. Nate Solder and Will Hernandez on the left side blocking for Saquon Barkley the way that they should. I think that the Dallas Cowboys definitely could lose this game. Giants got to come play. It won't be easy, but they got to win this game. Giants could win this game. They've got to win this game. And I'll tell you something else, too. And nobody brings this up about the Cowboys, but I'm going to bring this up. If you look at the Cowboys, ladies and gentlemen, has anybody noticed you have, in terms of your financial obligations, they'll devote $1.8 million of their cap to quarterbacks this season. Dak Prescott was a 4th rounder, so you get away with underpaying him. You would think that that would give them an excuse to build around everybody else. Do they do that? No. Philadelphia Eagles get better. Los Angeles Rams get better. Chicago Bears get better. Atlanta Falcons get better. New York Giants get better. Hell, the Washington Redskins got better. But the Dallas Cowboys, what do? This is a team that didn't cross midfield until the 3rd quarter. I mean, you got to be kidding me. First points when allowing 20 points or fewer since December of 2016. It's right there on the screen. When you look at these Dallas Cowboys, it's a nightmare. But I'll tell you this, I think Dak Prescott is getting a bad rap. Everybody want to talk about what he can't do. What weapons have you given him to work with? Dez Bryant is gone. We all know he should still be in this league. He's gone. Jason Witten is calling Monday Night Football for us. You got Allen Hurns from Jacksonville. Well, if he was so big time, if he mattered so much, how come he only got a 2-year, $12 million deal? Evidently, you didn't think that much of him. That's bargain basement for a start wide receiver. But that's what he's getting. You got Cole Beasley. What do we expect from him? Don't get me started with Terrence Williams. I'm not saying they're scrubs. I'm saying there's nothing about them that tickles my fancy. There's nothing about them that makes me want to run home and say, wow, I got to look forward to watching the Cowboys. They might make some noise. They ain't going no damn place, y'all. They ain't going anywhere. The Dallas Cowboys stink offensively. They are Ezekiel Elliott. They go where he takes them. Dak Prescott can't run, can't throw and catch. Somebody got to catch the football. Somebody got to get open. Somebody got to create separation. I don't see the Dallas Cowboys being able to do that this year. Jerry Jones want to whine and cry about how he's not getting any younger. Well, damn it, evidently you don't mind because you keep bypassing year after year after year, putting forth a mediocre product. Those are the Dallas Cowboys. And I promise you, you can go from a 5-star hotel and a 5-star restaurant to a White Castle on the Strip, and you will run into a sickening, disgusting Dallas Cowboys fan acting like they did something. You can book it. God, they make me sick. I just can't stand Cowboys fans. I just can't stand them. They make me sick. And I can't wait till the Giants handle their business against them this weekend. 888-SAY-ESPN is the number to call up. This 888-729-3776. Now, the Giants got to do some things right. I was pleased with what I saw from their secondary. I really was. I was pleased with Eli Apple's performance this past weekend against Jacksonville. I was pleased with Janoris Jenkins. I was pleased with Landon Collins and these boys. And I got to tell you something. I think that they should be able to handle their business against the damn Dallas Cowboys. But let's not act like we're sure that the Giants' defense is something to write home about just yet. Jacksonville Jaguars didn't have Leonard Fournette for the second half of the game. And Blake Bortles is your quarterback. So the fact that you were able to neutralize them to some degree, let's not go home and bake cookies and act like there's a cause for celebration here. We don't know this. We just don't know. We shall see. We really, really should. There's something else I wanted to say. And I hate to be this way because, you know what? Contrary to what people might think, I'm a very happy guy. I'm a very nice guy. I mean, I don't want y'all to tell anybody because you got to understand something. Even though I work for Walt Disney, airwaves and stuff like that, I'm not beyond cussing somebody out. It's the absolute truth. Now, I won't do that over FCC airwaves. But you get me off camera and you get on my damn nerves, I will cuss you out. It's the absolute truth. I'm guilty as charged. Okay? But I'm still a very pleasant guy. I'm actually a very nice guy. Don't tell nobody. It's true. I'm actually a very nice guy. I'm not nice to Cowboy fans because I don't like them. And I'm not going to be phony about it. But I'm actually a very, very nice guy. And I want to be optimistic. I don't want to poo-poo on anybody's parade. I want everybody to be happy. Okay? But this noise that has been reverberating all over the National Football League about let's stop the presses. You got Sam Darnold for the New York Jets. Some article in the New York Post yesterday about how Sam Darnold is the truth. He is it. He's the future. After one game? One? And by the way, who did you beat? The Detroit Lions. Ladies and gentlemen, we don't even know if they're a quality NFL team. Matt Patricia, it was his first game on the job. What do we know about Detroit? You got a new coach. You got a history and tradition of ineptitude. Nobody expects anything from you. The Detroit Lions have not won a playoff game since 1991. Ladies and gentlemen, not only was my hairline 3 feet forward, I had a damn afro. The last time that the Detroit Lions won a damn playoff game. I had an afro. Me. I mean, you could have confused me as a light-skinned Michael Jackson. All I had to do was moonwalk backwards. You'd have thought I was Michael Jackson. That's the kind of afro I had. That's the last time the Detroit Lions won a playoff game. Oh, by the way, Barry Sanders was playing for them. Now, over the last few years, what have we lamented about the Detroit Lions? You know what we said? Damn, they don't have a running game. Theo Reddick, Amir Abdullah, You went and got LeGarrette Blount in the offseason, Everywhere you turn, you can't find a running back for the Detroit Lions. Matthew Stafford, he can play, he can win games for you, he can also lose games for you because he's enigmatic. He's a bit bizarre at times. He will throw an interception at a moment's notice. Their wide receivers, other than Golden Tate, who the hell are you thinking about? Golden Tate, Marvin Jones. All right. I like Golden Tate. But is there anyone else to write home about? No. And don't get me started on the defensive side of the ball. And then when you look at the Detroit Lions, let me ask y'all a question. Other than the hapless Buffalo Bills, who look like they don't even belong in the NFL right now, with a quarterback in Nathan Peterman that might very well be one of the worst quarterbacks we have ever seen in NFL history. He has no business wearing an NFL uniform. The only thing he should be doing is carrying people's buckets of water. All right? Other than the Buffalo Bills, Who was worse last weekend than the Detroit Lions? You gave up a touchdown on special teams. You gave up a touchdown on a pick six. You gave up a touchdown all over the place on offense. This rookie was picking you apart when Bilal Powell and Isaiah Crowell weren't running all over you. On every level, the Detroit Lions stunk. So much so that anybody watching the NFL looked at Matt Patricia and said, okay, we're not hiring any more Bill Belichick disciples. That's how bad it was. Bill Belichick disciples, Romeo Crennel, Eric Mangini, Charlie Weiss, Bill O'Brien, Josh McDaniels, now Matt Patricia. Nobody has a damn winning record. So it's like Bill Belichick taught them just enough to do the job he wants them to do, but left them ill-prepared to be head coaches in the National Football League. That's all we walked away saying. Why are we acting like, oh, my Lord, let's stop the presses? There's something to be said here about the Detroit Lions. We don't know what Sam Darnold could do yet. And then I got Carson Palmer, formerly of the Cincinnati Bengals and the Arizona Cardinals, who recently retired and was a good quarterback his damn self. USC pedigree, by the way. He's sitting there raving about Sam Darnold. Oh, he's got the it factor, whatever. Okay, I'll listen to that because he played. But I'm like, come on. Can we see a little bit more? And by the way, I'm not blaming anybody. I'm not blaming the New York Post, not blaming the New York Daily News, not blaming Jet fans everywhere. When you have the Jets' history, Richard Todd, Ken O'Brien, and Chad Pennington, and Mark Sanchez, and all of these other guys, the only person that had a winning record was Chad Pennington. So I understand. But my goodness, can't you hide your desperation just a little bit? Have some dignity. Show a little face. Why are you walking around acting like this? For what? There's no reason for this. There's no cause for this. The reality is clear, and we need to be very honest about this. We don't know what the hell Sam Darnold can do yet because we are not enthralled by what we saw because it was against the Detroit Lions. Period. And speaking of hyperbole and jumping out on a limb, did you hear what Drew Brees had to say about Baker Mayfield? Oh, this guy has the potential. He might end up being better than me. That's what Drew Brees said, okay? That is what Drew Brees said. Drew Brees, the great Drew Brees, the future Hall of Famer, that is Drew Brees. The first ballot Hall of Famer, that is Drew Brees. This man has 70,800 yards passing. He has a career where he has completed 67% of his passes. And a guy who's a puppy, wet behind the ears, breath smelling like Similac, not playing inside of a dome, but throwing the football off the bristling winds of Lake Erie in Ohio. You're going to sit up there and say, this brother got a chance, he's going to be better than you. Drew Brees, stop it. Just stop it. Love Drew Brees, but stop it. Baker Mayfield. Can Baker Mayfield get in the starting lineup first? Can we see that? Can we see him play first? And oh, by the way, I think he will. And I think he'll do well. But let's be clear. If Baker Mayfield starts anytime soon, you know what's going to be the biggest reason why he started? You know what's going to be the biggest reason? Because Sam Darnold is starting. And Josh Allen is now about to start in Buffalo. And everybody's going to be clamoring for the number one overall pick in Baker Mayfield to see what he brings to the table because Tyrod Taylor was relatively pedestrian against the Steelers defense on Sunday in a tie that they finished with against the Steelers. That's what they're going to do. And they're going to use that as an excuse to start Baker Mayfield. And by the way, if I'm Hugh Jackson, it might be wise. Now, listen, unapologetically, I might add. We all know I root for the brothers. I'm not apologizing for that. I don't root against anybody. Maybe Jay Cutler. I take that back. I do root against him. If Jay Cutler was still playing, I'd root against Jay Cutler. I can't deny that. I just think he's a disaster. I never liked Jay Cutler as a quarterback. Never liked him. Okay? I just thought that he always looked depressed. He always looked like he was on Prozac or something. How you going to lead an NFL team when you looking like that as a quarterback? I didn't like it. All right? Now, the biggest memory I have of Jay Cutler, you couldn't backpedal in the pocket during an NFC championship game because you were hurt when you were quarterback in the Chicago Bears back in 2010. But what you could do was get on your bicycle. So you could pedal on your bicycle, but couldn't backpedal in the pocket to throw a football with a berth to the Super Bowl on the line. That is what I will forever remember about Jay Cutler. Now, I love some of his decision-making now. His wife is lovely. His wife is absolutely lovely. So clearly he's not completely clueless. But as a quarterback, I don't want him leading my team. But for the most part, I say all of that to say, because of the paucity of African Americans in a particular sport, I'm not going to sit up there and apologize for rooting for the few who get that rare opportunity. Tyrod Taylor has that in Cleveland. Hugh Jackson is the coach. But I got to tell you, Hugh, you're 1-31 as a coach. 1-31-1. I don't even know what to say to that. Hugh Jackson got to get Baker Mayfield up in there as soon as possible and showcase what this kid has. Because if you don't do that, you might not have a job next season. Let's just call it what it is. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. That was Straight Talk Wireless, nationwide coverage on America's largest and most dependable 4G LTE networks. Need game tickets, by the way? Find your seats at Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Enter promo code ESPN at checkout and receive 10% off your order today. That's Vivid Seats. Also, one other thing. Nothing makes up for your football obsession like a surprise from 1-800-Flowers.com. To order a dozen multicolored roses plus an extra bouquet and a vase for just $29.99, go to 1-800-Flowers.com/ESPN. And one more thing, get triple action protection for optimal engine performance with Shell V-Power Nitro plus premium gasoline. 888-SAY-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 888-729-3776. The one and only Michael Kay, the voice of the New York Yankees, is going to be on with us a little bit later on the show. We're coming at you live from Vegas, so we're going to have some boxing guests on as well. Stick around and stay tuned for that. This is Stephen A. with the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Coming at you live from the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, right off the Strip. We're here for Triple G, Canelo, the sequel. We will be getting into that and so much more in a minute. So don't touch that dial. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio and ESPN News.
Ow. Yep, you guessed it. I'm a speed bump, so I've got one job. I slow you down. So imagine how I feel about Geico, who does way more. Like, not only could they save you money on car insurance, but they've been around for over 75 years, giving people fast and friendly claim service. Ow. Plus, they got a nifty mobile app that gives you 24/7 access. Ow. Just doing my job, buddy.
Geico. Expect great savings and a whole lot more. You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Discover Card believes anniversary should be a time of celebration, not obligation. That's why they think annual fees are just ridiculous. And now, just for giving them a try, Discover will give new card members a one-year anniversary gift they'll never forget. At the end of your first year, they'll match all the cash back you've earned dollar for dollar. No caps, no catches. Try it and believe it at discover.com/match. Only for new card members. Limitations apply. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio and simulcast live over the national television airwaves of ESPN News. 888-SAY-ESPN is the number to call up. That's 888-729-3776. It is my honor and privilege to have my next guest on the line, an award-winning radio host, one of the best in the business, the voice of the New York Yankees, who also happens to be the afternoon drive radio host for ESPN 98.7 FM in New York City. My buddy, my friend, and one of the great guys that I know, the one and only Michael Kay, is on the line with yours truly right now. What's up, buddy? How you doing, man?
I'm doing great, but I'm very jealous. I'm looking at you on TV right now, and that looks like a sweet spot you got there.
It's nice. I mean, the strip is behind me. The weather is approaching 100 degrees.
Yeah.
Let's just say the scenery is quite lovely. Can we leave it at that, Michael Kay? Can we leave it at that?
We can leave it at that because I think I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, let's get right to it. What the hell is going on with my Yankees? Michael Kay, I'm very concerned. I'm very concerned now after their recent slide. They're only a game up on the Oakland A's for that wild card spot. What the hell is going on with this team?
Yeah, I wish I could tell you. Everything is spiraled out of control. They haven't gotten good pitching since the beginning of September. Giancarlo Stanton, who played so well when Aaron Judge went down, has suddenly really hit the skids in the month of September. And, they just finished a road trip where they're 4-5, and now they're in real danger of having that wild card game be in Oakland. That's the bottom line. That's one thing they really wanted to avoid.
If you had to pinpoint a primary reason as to why that is it hitting? Is it pitching? Is it managing? What's going on?
Well, if I had to pinpoint one reason, it would be the loss of Aaron Judge. And I think we're now seeing how important this guy is to what they do. He's the best player on the team. And I think that when he went down, it shortened the lineup. All of a sudden, guys like Gleyber Torres when they were batting fourth or fifth. When he was there, they were batting in the number 9 hole. Then obviously that piled onto the Gary Sanchez injury as well. They're still coming back. Sanchez is back. He hasn't found his stroke. Stanton has lost his stroke. The 2 kids have carried the team, Andujar and Torres, but they're waiting. Maybe it could be next week. Maybe it could be in the Red Sox series at Yankee Stadium when Aaron Judge comes back. If Aaron Judge can approximate what Aaron Judge is, they could, boom, get right back on track. If you want one positive, Stephen, Luis Severino looked as close to as he did at the beginning of the year last night than he has in the last 11 starts. And that's a positive because they're going to need this guy if they're going to advance in the playoffs.
We're talking to the great Michael Kay, the voice of the New York Yankees and the afternoon drive off of 98.7 FM right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. I look at Sanchez being back, but there's always question marks about him, particularly as it pertains to his durability. We've been wondering when Judge would come back. Alarmed at all at how long it has taken Judge to recover from his injuries, Michael Kay?
I think that we're alarmed because the initial diagnosis was just simply wrong. I mean, the guy had a broken bone in his wrist, and they said 3 weeks he would be back playing. I mean, that was overtly optimistic, and a lot of people just scratched their head. They didn't understand why. And by that being put out there, it kind of put a lot of pressure on Judge, because if you say someone's going to be back in 3 weeks, and all of a sudden it's not 3 weeks, and he's not even swinging a bat at that time, it makes him look like he's the guy with the issue. But he wasn't the guy with the issue. Again, overly optimistic doctor who said that this guy was going to be back in 3 weeks. This is about how long it takes for a bone to heal, 6-7 weeks. And, the only thing that they can hope is that when he comes back, there's a minimum of pain in there and that he can approximate what he did. But I don't think you blame anybody except for the fact that they all stopped hitting at the same time. And there's one other thing, too, Stephen. Mm-hmm. While they're trying to hold off the A's, and the A's never lose a game, ever, what they've run into is that Aaron Boone is trying to get people right for the playoffs. So he's penciling in Gary Sanchez, who's hitting 180. He's batting guys like Stanton and not giving them a rest because he feels, I've got to straighten them out for the playoffs. But all the while you're doing that, you're running a lineup out that in the month of September right now is hitting under 200. So it's not as if you're playing for that game that night. You're playing for the playoffs. But the playoffs might not happen the way you envision them because you put yourself in such a hole, and you're going to have to travel 3,000 miles to Oakland to play that game in all likelihood.
And this is what worries me as well, Michael Kay. See, I'm thinking about Boston and winning their 100th game. It's the first time they've done it since like 1946, for crying out loud. You haven't had Chris Sale pitch more than, he pitched about 6 innings since the beginning of August or sometime in July, for crying out loud. And they're still rolling. I'm looking at the rotation of the Houston Astros, and they're the reigning defending World Series champions. I'm looking at the way Cleveland has come on strong and the way they're bowling this year. And we haven't even gotten to the Oakland A's. So I'm looking at the New York Yankees, and I'm saying after all of this that they've gone through, these guys could be home after one daggone playoff game. I don't like it at all, Michael Kay. I'm very, very worried about you. How worried are you considering the level of competition within the American League that they're destined to face?
Well, maybe I'll help you out just a little bit.
Please.
If Judge comes back and Chapman comes back, right? If they come back, then they have as good a chance to win the World Series as anybody.
Really?
I mean, that's as simply as I could put it. And the other guys have to hit to the back of their baseball card. They're a really good team if Severino pitches the way Severino pitched last night against Minnesota, and you get back Judge and you get Sanchez and Stanton hitting the way they're going to. The people that in that lineup can match up with anybody. And they've got 3 top pitchers in the starting rotation, and that's really all you need in a short series, and their bullpen is exemplary. So they've got to get themselves straightened out in the next 2 weeks.
But, Michael K., that's where you and I disagree. I look at the Yankees pitching with Severino and Tanaka obviously leading the way. Tanaka obviously leading the way. I'm not as confident. I don't care how Severino looked last night. I'm just not as confident in their pitching as you sound like you are.
Well, I don't think that, it's Koufax and Drysdale. I'm not trying to put lipstick on a pig, but the bottom line is you've got Severino, you've got J-Happ, who's pitched in a World Series twice, you've got Tanaka, who has an under 2 ERA and 4 postseason starts. I'd go to the track and go to the gate with those 3 guys, because all you need is those 3 guys, and they don't even have to give you 7 innings. They only have to give you 5, because Britton looks like he's the Britton that they traded for. If you get Chapman back full bore, and then all of a sudden you return Dellin Betances to what he should be, and David Robertson, you can cover 4 innings out of the bullpen every single night the way the playoffs are set up. I'll tell you this, Steven, if they win the wild card game against the A's, wherever that game is played, nobody is going to feel comfortable playing them, including the Boston Red Sox.
Now, let me ask you this question. Based on what you've seen from the rest of the American League, particularly those 2 teams that I mentioned in Houston, Cleveland, and Boston, and you take that into account based on what you've also seen from the Yankees this year, who would you least like to see them go up against in a divisional playoff series, assuming they get past Oakland in that 1-game playoff?
Well, I mean, it's already set. They're going to have to go up against the Red Sox. And I think that's going to raise their level. The intensity of that series will raise their level. The wild card team plays the team with the best record. Yeah. That's going to be the Boston Red Sox. So that's going to be a best of 5. And, the first 2 games are in Boston. And that's why, Steven, I think it's so important to hold off the A's for the home field. Because if you have any intention of beating Boston, you've got to save the wear and tear on your body. So the Yankees finished the season on the 30th of September in Boston. At the end of that game, if they have lost a wild card home field, they've got to travel 3,000 miles to Oakland. They've got to play that game on the 3rd, then get back on a plane, travel 3,000 miles back to Boston, and begin the wild card, the division series on Friday. That's putting too much stress on the body to be successful. The best route for them to beat the Boston Red Sox, hold off the Oakland A's, play that game at Yankee Stadium, win that game, take an hour flight to Boston, and get yourself ready to go.
Well, obviously, you don't just know the Yankees. You know baseball. So real quick before I let you go, National League, is it still about the Dodgers and everybody else, or do you view Arizona? Do you view the Cubs? Do you view the Atlanta Braves in the National League and say, excuse me, one of those teams are more likely than the Los Angeles Dodgers to represent the National League in this upcoming World Series? Your thoughts real quick.
Stephen A., I'll tell you what, the Dodgers right now might not even make the playoffs. The team that would scare me the most would be the Chicago Cubs. They're the most complete team. Their bullpen's a little bit frightening to me, but they have enough starting pitching. They've got a great lineup, a great bench. They've been there. They've done that. That's still the team, I think.
Michael K., always appreciate you, buddy. Keep up the great work, man, and thank you for taking the time out of your schedule to join me today. Thanks a lot, buddy.
Please stay out of trouble.
I'll do my best. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Thanks again to the great Michael K., voice of Afternoon Drive right here in New York at 98.7 FM in New York City. Also the voice of the New York Yankees, of course. Number to call up as always is 888-SAY-ESPN, 888-729-3776. You can catch Stephen A. on Twitter, on Facebook, on Instagram, all at Stephen A. Smith. So stick around, don't touch that dial. Hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio and ESPN News, the great Roy Jones Jr., who will probably be calling the fight for HBO along with my man Max Kellerman and Jim Lampley. He will be on the show with yours truly to preview this Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight, the sequel, coming up Saturday night live from the T-Mobile Arena right here in Las Vegas. Until then, we still got a lot to talk about. Make no mistake about it. By the way, there's some other thing I want to get to as well. Football season is finally underway. And if you play fantasy football, the odds are you probably already hate your team and wish you can draft again. Well, with FanDuel, you can draft a new team every week. They even have a new tool called Guru to help you pick your lineups so you can make smarter picks and feel more confident going into game day. And FanDuel has made it easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or bragging rights. Just to make sure you all knew about that. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. We'll get to your phone calls before my man Roy Jones Jr. comes on with us to talk about this mega fight taking place Saturday night. Live HBO pay-per-view, by the way. Let's not forget that as well. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show, ESPN Radio. More to come. Don't touch that dial.
Did you know ADT can design and install a smart home just for you? A new smart home at your service, customized for your lifestyle. ADT can even close your garage door while you're at your kid's soccer practice to help keep criminals and critters on the sidelines. Now, that's what I call goal-keeping service. It's all controlled from the ADT app or the sound of your voice and backed by 24/7 protection. Visit ADT.com/smart to learn more about how ADT can help keep your home safe and smart.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! ESPN Radio is presented by Progressive Home Insurance. Getting a quote is easier than ever before. Cars, homes, boats, motorcycles, RVs, and more at Progressive.com. Plus, Barbasol is finally making razors. That's a no-brainer. Check out the Barbasol Ultra 6 Plus with 6 ultra-thin blades. Save on the Ultra 6 Plus at Barbasol.com. Let's get to the phones at 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Let's go to Jimmy. You're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Jimmy. How are you?
Stephen A. Smith, my man. Super fan of the show, man. I look forward to it every day.
Thank you, brother. Go ahead.
Quick question for you. I mean, I know you hate Cowboy fans, and I'm a big Jet fan, but what would you think if Des Bryant came to the Jets to help us out? I mean, I honestly love all our receivers.
Well, I would say this to you. Robbie Anderson is good, but you don't have a number one receiver for the New York Jets, so I think there's certainly room for Des Bryant in the New York market with Sam Darnold throwing him the football. It doesn't bother me. With Kroll and Powell running the football effectively, with the offensive line being better than average, if Darnold has anything like everybody's proclaiming he does, well, doesn't he need some weapons? Anunwa and Robbie Anderson are good, but that's not going to be enough. You could use some help. So I would be open to the Jets bringing Des Bryant on board, but I want to make sure I state my position very, very clearly. I think Des Bryant was sabotaged. I think Des Bryant has been tarnished and his name has been sullied by the Dallas Cowboys organization. You have folks out there talking about him like a dog, and that's why he's having a tough time getting a job at any decent kind of salary. Now, supposedly, he was offered $5 million by Baltimore. He turned it down, didn't want to play for the Cleveland Browns, and he might think he's worth more than he is. But the reality is that the biggest thing that's hurting him right now is the fact that the Dallas Cowboys have sullied his reputation.
Oh, 100%. But I think if he goes somewhere else and plays, the Dallas Cowboys are going to be very upset.
We'll see. It's got to be the right situation, though, because he's clearly not what he used to be, and he clearly lost a step. But I got to go. I appreciate the call, though, man. Thank you, Jimmy. Andrew, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me, Andrew.
Stephen A., huge fan, man. I'm also a huge Cowboys fan, but I want to remain realistic because I'm just with you almost on everything. But I want to tell you the two exact problems that I think going on with Dallas. I think one is the play calling. I think Des tweeted it, but I think it's way before that from last year. Everyone's saying it. We always
knew that Jason Garrett and Scott Linehan pretty much didn't know what the hell they were doing.
It's bad.
Or Jerry Jones is in their way making it look like they don't know what the hell they're doing because he keeps putting his fingerprints on everything. One way or the other, Dallas's offense is underachieved, no doubt.
We agree with that. But let me tell you, too, what a lot of people don't talk about, especially Cowboy fans that are very ignorant and don't even know what they're talking about. I think it's drafting. Look at every single player on our Cowboy roster, Stephen A. Listen to this. All of our good players are high draft picks. Go through it, except Dak, Zeke. You go through that whole line of high draft picks. Randy Gregory was a high draft pick. DeMarcus, Sean.
What is your point?
My point is, good teams draft. You have to find mid-rounders, man, between third, fourth, fifth. We don't have any, Stephen A.
That's not the problem. That's not the problem.
That's part of it.
The problem is you're not doing what you built your team to do. You don't sit up there and predicate your success on your massive offensive line with a stud running back like Ezekiel Elliott, who's averaged 24 and 20-yard carries per game over his first two seasons in the NFL, respectively, and then turn around and give him 15 carries against Carolina Panthers this past Sunday. You got to give him the ball. Can
I add something?
Hurry up. Go ahead.
What if the Cowboys were able to find receivers like Tyreek Hill in the fourth round? We would have one freaking deep threat right now on that team. We don't have.
Let me ask you a question. How do you know they haven't found it? How do you know that they may have found it, but they don't know how to utilize a damn thing because you got a coach that's questionable, an offensive coordinator that's questionable, and an owner who thinks he's the coach?
But that's what I'm saying. We can have it, but maybe we do draft and we don't use it.
How about making sure that you get folks that can stay off the weed? How about that? How about guys like that? Everywhere you turn, there's always a problem. But we'll talk about that as the show progresses. Roy Jones, up next, hour number 2, Stephen A. in the house, ESPN Radio.
That's just a sample of what you'll hear on the Stephen A. Smith Show. Weekdays at 1 p.m. Eastern on ESPN Radio and the ESPN app.
Football season is finally underway, and if you play fantasy football, the odds are you probably already hate your team and wish you could draft again. On FanDuel, you can draft a new team every week. Plus, FanDuel has never been more fun or easier to play. If you're not a fantasy expert, then FanDuel is clearly the place to play. FanDuel has something for everyone, and there are more ways to win than ever before. FanDuel has a new tool called Guru to help you pick your lineups so you can make smarter picks and feel more confident going into game day. They've made it easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or bragging rights. Are you listening to me? New users get a $20 bonus when they make their first deposit on FanDuel. So come play with me at FanDuel.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V.
This is the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
I'm Stephen A.
Welcome back to hour number 2 of the Stephen A. Smith Show, coming at you live from Las Vegas, Nevada, site of the sequel. Canelo Alvarez versus Triple G this Saturday night from the T-Mobile Center here in Las Vegas, Nevada. I'm coming at you from the Paris Hotel in Las Vegas, right on the Strip. We're here because we're here for the Triple G Canelo Alvarez fight this week. And number to call up to the Stephen A. Smith Show right here on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. As always, it's 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. Any minute now, we're expecting to have former undisputed champion of the world in the middleweight and light heavyweight division, the one and only Roy Jones Jr., who in all likelihood will be calling a fight for HBO this Saturday night with my man Max Kellerman and, of course, the great Jim Lampley as well. We're hoping to have Roy on within the next few minutes, and we certainly expect and anticipate that will be the case. Until he comes on, there's a lot to get into. There's no question about that. Before I do that, let me just say this to y'all. The rematch everyone has been waiting for is finally here. We're coming to you today live from Vegas, where this Saturday at T-Mobile Arena, Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Triple G Golovkin will settle their score in a battle for the middleweight championship of the world. This time, the fighters are determined not to leave the outcome in the judges' hands, with both looking to end it with a knockout punch. Don't miss Canelo versus Triple G 2, Saturday, September 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view. Again, any minute now, we're expecting Roy Jones Jr. To be here with us right over the airwaves. And let me get right into it. Ladies and gentlemen, before the first fight took place, I picked Triple G to win that fight by decision. I'm a fan of Canelo Alvarez, but I thought him moving up in weight, being susceptible to the power of Triple G. As a matter of fact, if I remember correctly, I predicted that Triple G would stop him in the 11th round. I thought the power punches, the fact that he would be stalking him, and the fact that Canelo Alvarez tends to wane in the later rounds would be it. But they made me out to be a lie. I thought Triple G won the fight, but Judge Adelaide Bird ruined the whole evening by scoring it 118-110. She'll be nowhere near this fight. I believe Roy Jones Jr. is there now as we speak. Roy, are you there?
Yeah, what's up? How you doing, my brother?
I'm doing all right. Can you hear me clearly? You're a little staticky right now. Are you all right?
Yeah, I'm good. I hear you very clearly.
Oh, there you go. There you go. What's going on, my man? First of all, how you doing? I'm always going to ask that question first. How is my man Roy Jones doing? How are you doing?
Hey, I'm doing very good. How my man Stephen A. doing?
All right, I'm doing wonderful. I can't complain. Talk to me about watching Triple G and Canelo Alvarez. That first fight, what were your expectations going into it? And did it live up to expectations once you watched the fight the first go-round?
My expectations going into it was that it was going to be a really good fight, and it did live up to be a really good fight. However, the only thing that I realized I pulled away from was I was happy to see Canelo make Triple G have to make an adjustment, because he didn't allow Triple G to be the normal stalker that he is. So Canelo made Triple G make some adjustments. However, after Triple G made the adjustments, I still felt like you felt like Triple G won the fight by maybe a round or two. I don't think Adelaide Bird necessarily messed up so bad It just hurt the disparity. How far she had it apart is what really made it funny to everybody. But I thought the fight was a good fight. I thought Triple G won by a round or two. However, I was glad that it got called a draw because I wanted to see who can make the advanced adjustments, which is what's going to happen this time. So this time, will Triple G come in knowing that Canelo made him turn into more of a boxer last time and make a quicker adjustment and make Canelo fight earlier? Or will Canelo come in and be in better shape than he was in last time and be able to hold up 1 through 4 and do that same thing through from round 5 through 8?
Let me ask you this question, Roy Jones. Did you find yourself at any point disappointed at how Triple G started the fight? I was speaking to Teddy Atlas this morning and, of course, your boy Max Kellerman, and they talked about the tentativeness that Triple G showed in the earlier parts. I'm thinking, look, Canelo is a great counterpuncher. He wants you to come at him so he can counter. Coming at him like that was playing right into his hands, but everybody was saying Triple G was talking about fighting Mexican style, taking those risks, being fearless no matter what, and they didn't see that from him. Was that the impression you got about Triple G's performance from the earlier rounds in that first fight?
Well, it wasn't the impression I like Stephen, because here's my thing. When a guy banging you with bombs every time you reach at him with a bomb of your own, it makes you tend to change the way you do things. And it's a smart decision to change the way you do things, or you're making a quick nap. So I know what they're saying. They thought Triple G was this bully who could just run over Canelo and not have no respect for Canelo. Negative. That's not the case. It did not happen that way. Kell Brooks shows you that he could get respect from Triple G. So when Canelo got respect from Triple G, no, that did not surprise me. Now, Triple G did a great thing by making an adjustment and changing all of that up in the mid-rounds of the fight, which is why I thought Triple G actually came back and won the fight. But the first 4 rounds, Canelo was doing some exceptional counterpunching, which would not allow any type of a stalker to be comfortable against him. He did exactly what he was supposed to do to take her out of his game.
Roy Jones, the great Roy Jones Jr. right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. Roy, I'll tell you what I peeled from the fight. Instead of pushing or falling prey to Canelo leaning on the ropes looking to counterpunch, if I am Triple G, I'll want Canelo in the middle of the ring. I want Canelo right there. You know why? Because you don't have the support of the ropes to lean on. You got to use your legs and your balance a little bit more, and that could end up working against Canelo, even though he's a masterful boxer. To that, you say what?
To that, I say that's a very smart thing for Triple G, because now you don't give Canelo what he wants. Canelo wants to be on those ropes. He wants to use those ropes as leverage. He wants to bounce off of those ropes with his counters. He's very comfortable on those ropes. So I agree with you. If I were Triple G's camp, I don't want him on the ropes. I want him in the middle of the ring fighting, because now it gives me a better chance to land big shots against him. And I think Triple G is the better puncher and the stronger guy.
Roy Jones, when everybody's been talking about this fight coming up between these two, Triple G, Canelo Alvarez, right here in Vegas, T-Mobile Arena, Saturday night, HBO pay-per-view, by the way, it's like they look at Canelo Alvarez and they said he's lost weight. Now, I saw a guy that was considerably quicker, that was evasive, that was making Triple G miss with those right hands. Triple G did connect more with his punches, but those were mostly jabs, whereas Canelo had the advantage in power punches that were connected. Canelo losing weight for this fight, coming in quicker as far as Oscar De La Hoya and everybody else can tell. How do you think that will work for him in the sequel?
Well, I don't think it's necessary for him, because I see no reason for him to be a lighter, and I think it helps him.
I'm sorry, Roy. You're a little bit garbled and you're talking a little bit low. Could you raise your voice, please? Go ahead, buddy.
Yeah, I don't think it's smart for Triple G Canelo being lighter. I think he should be heavier, if anything, so that he can help absorb the punishment and he won't push it around. He is the small guy coming up in weight. That bigger guy going down. So he's going to be the quicker guy anyway. I don't think he needs to lose to be quicker. I think he needs to keep him. That's because that man is what made Triple G respect him in first round up there.
You're breaking up a little bit too much, but I will say this. If I'm hearing you correctly, you're telling me that Canelo Alvarez losing weight and being quicker could actually work against him because not being heavier might cost him the ability to absorb those punches from Triple G like he was able to do in the first fight, correct?
That's exactly right, Renee. That is correct.
Roy Jones Jr. right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio and ESPN News. So with that being said, what are you worried about for Triple G in this fight? What does he need to avoid in order to make sure that he wins the sequel?
The only thing he needs to avoid is he can't allow Canelo to constantly counter punch him. He can't allow Canelo to catch him with good counter punch on the chin too often. Canelo is not a bad puncher when he does turn his punches over. So he makes sure that he goes out and does more boxing and lifts off because more he had his first fight to come back and win fight. I picked him to at least the draw. When he was stalking, he was completely outclassed. He needed to go a box, punch the stalk, box as he stalks.
I got you.
It was strange because him being a stalk last time, he landed more boxing punches, and Canelo landed more punches as a stalker. And he wasn't the stalker. He was the counter puncher, but he landed more power punches, and Triple G landed more punches.
Got it. Roy Jones, I appreciate the time, buddy. Thanks so much. I can't wait to see you Saturday, man. We'll definitely wrap. But I'm excited. I'm so excited for this fight. I don't know what to do with myself. This is the fight of the year. I've been waiting for it. I'm mad that it had to be postponed from May because of bad meat in Mexico and clenbuterol and all of that other nonsense. I don't give a damn about that. I wanted to fight. I'm mad I had to wait, but it is here. I'm excited, and I can't wait, and I know you can't either. Thanks a lot, my man. I appreciate you.
Thank you, but I can't wait to see you Saturday.
No doubt. We'll see each other Saturday night. The one and only Roy Jones Jr. right here with Stephen A. on ESPN Radio. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Here's the deal. Triple G can box. Triple G was using his jab effectively. Triple G is obviously the bigger puncher. He's the heavier fighter. Canelo Alvarez, in all of his years of fighting, never had to show up at 160 pounds until he fought Triple G, while Triple G had been showing up that way most of his career. But I got news for you. I give Canelo Alvarez a lot of credit for his performance in that first fight. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm not of this mindset that everybody else is, where Canelo was running. Canelo was not running. He was boxing. He was boxing against the ropes. He was attacking when he wanted to. He was stepping back and avoiding some punches when he could. He was looking to counterpunch at every turn. I give Canelo Alvarez a lot of credit. I really, really do. Now, I will tell you what's making this fight interesting is appears to be the bad blood that is brewed because understand something, people. Canelo Alvarez tested positive twice. The clenbuterol in his system, which was an illegal substance, he credited to bad meat in Mexico. He said he should have known better. He took responsibility for that, but ultimately, they had to suspend him. And they ended up suspending him, which postponed the fight for 6 months. Triple G, or rather Canelo, was furious because they think that Triple G and his camp have been maligning him and questioning his professional integrity. They're accusing him of cheating. A matter of fact, Oscar De La Hoya and others have sworn that this fight still would have happened in May if Triple G and his camp didn't complain to the Nevada State Athletic Commission about the potential use of steroids or performance-enhancing drugs. And so because you have that going on, Canelo is offended. He says he has no respect for Triple G. Triple G has talked more than we've ever seen him, talking about cleaning up the sport, and now there's no room for cheaters. Abel Sanchez, who trains Triple G, and by the way, I'll be hosting SportsCenter on the road throughout the weekend, Friday and Saturday night. Plus, I got a special edition, Stephen A. at Large, special SportsCenter edition tonight from 7 to 8 p.m. Eastern Time on ESPN2. Not to mention, it's like 4 to 5 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. You can catch me on ESPN2 there. We're obviously coming from Vegas, so we'll be talking a lot about this fight. But let's be clear. Triple G's been talking more than ever. Abel Sanchez has been maligning Canelo Alvarez at every turn. I think he's personally trying to bait him, trying to get under Canelo's skin, so he'll come right at Triple G, thereby being a stationary target for Triple G, so Triple G can take him out. I think that's what Abel Sanchez is doing. I think that's exactly what he's doing here. I mean, you don't have to have 20/20 vision to see what the hell is going on. But still in all, it does make for an interesting fight. And here's why. Whether they're faking it or whether it's real, here's the reality. They're going to swing once they get in that ring. It ain't going to be a bunch of dancing and running. These brothers are going to swing. Now, do I think this is going to be Hagler Hearns? No. I don't think it's going to be something like that. But I do believe it's going to be a great fight. And in my perfect world, I won't see anybody get knocked out because I respect the hell out of both of them, me personally. But we shall see what happens because it's going to be very, very interesting. That much I can tell you. All of that stuff is stuff that we got to look at, you got to pay attention to. And right now, here's my thing. I'm going into this fight thinking about Canelo Alvarez. I'm actually favoring him. I shocked Jalen Rose this morning on Get Up. I shocked folks on First Take this morning. I might be shocking some of y'all now. I'm of the mindset that Canelo Alvarez is going to win this fight. You know why? Because I saw Triple G couldn't catch him. That's what bothers me. Triple G was throwing rights all over the place, swinging at nothing but air. That's what bothered me. And when I see that somebody can't get hit, I'm usually going to favor them. Because guess what? You got to hit them to beat them. And I got serious questions. And if you're Triple G, if you attack the body, there's nobody better than Canelo Alvarez at counterpunching. There's nobody better. That's why I knew years ago he was going to knock out James Kirkland. 50 Cent was training James Kirkland instead of Ann Wolfe. And I knew that Kirkland wasn't going to last more than 3 rounds because he's a one-dimensional fighter. He only knows one way to go. He only knows one way to go. And I knew that was forward. Now, they say the same thing about Triple G, but James Kirkland is no Triple G. What he does is he outworks you and he stalks you and he mauls you. But it's not necessarily boxing, and more importantly, he don't have that chin, as Canelo Alvarez proved by absolutely positively putting him to sleep. I mean, we haven't heard from James Kirkland since. I don't even know if I've seen James Kirkland at a 7-Eleven. That's how, I'm serious. I mean, when you get knocked out that bad, it's kind of hard. It really, really is. And I'm not maligning him in any way. Listen, I respect all boxers who take their sport seriously and work and train to be the best that they can be. But you talk about a guy that was tailor-made for Canelo Alvarez, it was James Kirkland. And if you want to sit there and say Amir Khan, James Kirkland was more tailor-made for Canelo than Amir Khan, what his glass jaw having self was. Because at least Amir Khan's going to try to move away from you. He just got caught. But James Kirkland is walking right into you. And his objective is to trade punches. And Canelo put him to sleep. It was, let me tell y'all something right now. Let me tell y'all something about boxing when it comes to me. You know when you know it's really, really bad? When somebody knocks you out so badly that even before they raise their hand, the first thing they do is bow their head and walk over to see if you're okay. That's when you know somebody has knocked you the hell out. Canelo Alvarez didn't even raise his hands triumphantly. The first thing he did was bow his head and walk over to James Kirkland to see if he was okay. Same thing he did with Amir Khan. Go back and watch the film. He never celebrated. First thing he did was bow his head and walk over and say, God, I hope I didn't kill this guy. I mean, the way Canelo knocked out James Kirkland was the way Tommy the Hitman Hearns once knocked out Roberto Duran, where he turned his head 180 degrees and the paramedics were running into the ring before Roberto Duran even hit the canvas. And and here's another way where you know you knocked out, ladies and gentlemen. Where you're truly, truly knocked out is when you fall upper body because you see you're unconscious. That's what happens. And that's what happens to James Kirkland against Canelo Alvarez. Can somebody please get this echo out of my ear? Here's the deal. If you are Triple G, you ain't worried about that. But Canelo Alvarez has some power, bro. This dude is special. And I'm going to keep my eyes on the Charlo brothers, Jamel and Jamal, because everybody's talking about how both of them can beat these guys. I got to keep my eyes on them. I got to keep my eyes on them because they're special. But as we're sitting here talking about Canelo, Triple G, Roy Jones Jr. made a good point. He doesn't know if it's to Canelo's advantage to lose that weight. Because if you lose that weight, you can't absorb those punches. For those of you out there, that's probably why you see so many fat people running around. Okay? Because you never know when they get in trouble. And what they want to do is be able to absorb a punch and be able to sit on you. Okay? I mean, these are smart decisions. Canelo Alvarez losing weight makes him quicker, makes him faster. Hell, for all we know, it might make him stronger. But can he absorb the punches? And that's where it gets very, very interesting. I have Canelo Alvarez winning the second fight by decision. It's not because I think he's better. I do think he's the better boxer. He's clearly not the better puncher. It's not that. It's that I think in order to beat him, Triple G has to connect with the right. I think in order to do that, you got to set it up with the body. I think the hesitancy to get caught by Canelo's counters will have Triple G headhunting, leading with the jab. That's not going to be good enough to beat Canelo Alvarez. In order to beat Canelo Alvarez, what you're going to have to do is attack the body, set up the head shots, catch him with more power shots. That's what you're going to have to do. And I don't think that Canelo is going to be there to get caught by the right hand. And as a result, he will end up winning by decision. That is what I suspect. It might be a robbery, because if anybody's going to get robbed, it's going to be Triple G. It ain't going to be Canelo. But I really believe that's how Canelo Alvarez is going to win this fight. That's just what I see. It really, really is. Again, the rematch everyone has been waiting for is finally here. We're coming to you today live from Las Vegas. We're this Saturday at T-Mobile Arena. Canelo Alvarez and Gennady Triple G Golovkin will settle their score in a battle for the middleweight world championship. Don't miss Canelo versus Triple G 2, Saturday, September 15th, 8 p.m. Eastern, 5 p.m. Pacific, live on pay-per-view. 888-SAY-ESPN. That's 888-729-3776. We're coming at you live from the Paris Hotel in Vegas. Site of Canelo Alvarez, Triple G. Vegas, that is. The Strip. We'll get back to your phone calls and more in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show on ESPN Radio on simulcast live on ESPN News.
I just saved hundreds of dollars by switching to Geico. I should have done this years ago.
Disclaimer, traveling back in time is physically impossible unless you know how to build a functioning time machine. Then by all means, travel 25 years back in time, switch your car insurance to Geico. You could save a bunch of money. While you're there, please prevent your younger self from wearing that sleeveless tuxedo t-shirt, parachute pants, and glitter high tops to your senior prom. And at long last, rectify this horrible crime against nature. Geico is absolved of all liability if you destroy the fabric of time and space.
Geico. 15 minutes could save you 15% or more.
You're listening to the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Barbasol is finally making razors. That's a no-brainer. Check out the Barbasol Ultra 6 Plus with 6 ultra-thin blades. Save on the Ultra 6 Plus at Barbasol.com. Plus, fellas, you've been sitting around for too long. Whether you want to get to a game, NFL, college football, MLB, or a concert, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to VividSeats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your offer. The other thing I wanted to mention is football season is finally underway, and if you play fantasy football, the odds are you probably already hate your team and wish you could draft again. Well, with FanDuel, you can draft a new team every week. They even have a new tool called Guru to help you pick your lineup so you can make smarter picks and feel more confident going into game day. And FanDuel has made it easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or bragging rights. New users get a $20 bonus when they make their first deposit on FanDuel. So come play with me at FanDuel.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH. Not a V. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back to the phones we go. Brian, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. What's up?
Stephen A., what's good with you? This, from Philly.
What's up, man? Go ahead, bro.
I mean, Stephen A., I love you. You my old head, but I got to tell you about yourself. I'm a Niners fan. I'm saying, I believe these next 5 games, we're gonna go 5-1. I'm gonna say Jimmy. He probably throw for 3,000, maybe 4, and we're gonna knock out the LA Cannon Spams, the Arizona Sandpaper, and the Seattle.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question, okay? First of all, you know what my nickname for him is, right? Porn Star Jimmy. That's what I call him. Porn Star Jimmy.
Hold on.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, wait. It's not an insult. I'm not insulting him at all. It's actually very complimentary. I don't have no problem with him, but he is Porn Star Jimmy. You go out with a porn star on Melrose Boulevard or wherever the hell he was in California, knowing that the paparazzis are there. I'm not beyond the pale calling him Porn Star Jimmy. He did that, not me. Now, I'm not knocking him, but that's what he did. He went out with a porn star knowing the paparazzis were watching. That's why I call him Porn Star Jimmy. It's just that simple. Now, having said all of that, let's be clear. He can play. He's 5-0 as a starter in San Francisco. He's 2-0 with New England. Then he comes into this season, and now with them having an off season and training camp and preseason to prepare, he got spanked by a big-time defense in the Minnesota Vikings. That doesn't mean that he can't play. It doesn't mean 49ers won't have a good season. But what it does mean is we need to pump the brakes on acting like this dude, if he goes to the toilet and poops, it's actually gold. Like he's Austin Power or somebody. This dude is suspect just like anybody else. He had no business being perceived as the heir apparent to Tom Brady just yet. Like, oh, my goodness, why did the New England Patriots hold on to Tom Brady? He's no Tom Brady, not yet. That's all I'm trying to say, bro. I don't think that's an insult.
Listen, Stephen A., I call him Jimmy Guac. And, salute, he was chilling with mama, that's their business. You see what I'm saying? But,
Stop. You're not being fair. In all due respect, Brian, you're not being fair. Ain't nobody get into his business. I didn't say what they were doing. I didn't say anything. But when I call him Porn Star Jimmy, well, that's what you did. What? Let me ask you a question. This summer, I got my producer shaking his head. He's all nervous because I said, I don't care. Here's the deal. What was he known for doing this entire offseason, Brian? In fairness to me, what was Jimmy Garoppolo known for doing this entire offseason?
He was known for, signing with the Niners,
signing for $137 million and going out with the porn star.
Out there chilling, doing that.
I'm just saying, I'm not knocking him. But look, when you're known for that, and then you get spanked by the Minnesota Vikings, that's a problem. All I'm saying is, listen, let me be very, very clear again. It is not an insult. The nickname is not a derogatory one. I don't have a problem not insulting him. The man went out with a porn star in Hollywood with paparazzis around. Calling him Porn Star Jimmy is not an insult. It's just not. Have a nice day, Brian. Appreciate it. But that's his nickname for me. And I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not calling him one. I'm saying that's what he went out with. That happens to be factual. And damn it, I don't have a problem with him. To each his own. Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to James. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, James?
Stephen A., love the show. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Talk to me.
All right, I got a dilemma, a fantasy football dilemma. I got Zach, and he's playing horribly. My question is, on a short week, should I play Andy Dalton tonight, who's only had 4 days rest since playing on Sunday, and bench Zach? That's my question for you.
That's a tough one. Let me tell you why it's a tough one. Because that short week might make the Baltimore Ravens more susceptible to Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. But then it might make Cincinnati, and its offense more susceptible to Baltimore's defense. So that's tight. Not to mention the fact that Dak Prescott might show out Sunday night against the Giants because it's an NFC East divisional, NFC East divisional playoff. Regular season game. It's in Dallas, if I remember correctly. And look, they're going against the Giants.
And it's their home opener.
So I would tell you to go with Dak before Andy Dalton.
Listen, all right, that's what I needed to know. I had a couple hours to make a decision.
By the way, since I called Jimmy Garoppolo Porn Star Jimmy, do you know what my nickname is for Andy Dalton?
No.
Richie Cutting Hair. Remember him? Happy Days?
Yeah, way back
That's
then.
right. That's what I call Andy Dalton. Richie Cunningham. He'll be all right. We'll see. I say go with Dak. Ride the wave with Dak, man. Appreciate the call. All right? Let's go to my man Carlton. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, my God. Taking days off, hanging out in Vegas. It must be nice to be Stephen A., huh?
Hold on, Carlton. The Hurricanes, first of all, I want you to be safe, assuming that you're going to be you're going to be susceptible to those hurricanes out there. Be safe, you and your family and your loved ones. I'm wishing everybody nothing but the safest weekend imaginable. But you know how that goes. When a hurricane is coming and stuff like that, flights get delayed. If I waited till the last flight out after my radio show, I might not have made it out here to Vegas. That was the problem.
Yeah. All right.
Come on, man. You know I'm a workaholic. You've never called me lazy, Carlton. You called me many
things. Life being Stephen A. there. Anyway, you know what I'm calling about today? I'm calling to defend John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders and Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers from that numbnuts that you got as a co-host on First Take, okay? So let me explain something to Max.
Go ahead.
Let me explain something to Max Kellerman, okay, who doesn't know his butt from his brains when it comes to NFL. The reason why John Gruden released Martavius Bryant and then re-signed him is because when he released him, there's no question about guaranteeing his full-year salary as a veteran.
Right.
And by picking him back up, even if he gets suspended, the Oakland Raiders have his contract rights for next year. So when Max says, if Martavius Bryant gets suspended by the NFL, it's a clown show in Oakland. He doesn't even understand the whole mechanics of what John Gruden was doing. John Gruden wants to maintain control over Martavius Bryant.
Well, I understand that, and I think that at one point Max did point that out accurately.
No, he didn't. He doesn't know it, Stephen A.
Let me say this to you. I know it, but I didn't care. I still believe that it's ridiculous that John Gruden would bring Martavius Bryant back because you're talking about the impact inside of a locker room. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not thinking about bringing Martavius back until I am assured he won't get suspended. That's my philosophy.
Well, the other idiot thing that Max keeps saying is that the Green Bay Packers ought to go get Le'Veon Bell. The Green Bay Packers have $3 million in available cap space, Stephen A. And by the way, nobody should go get Le'Veon Bell for the $17 million that he wants. Le'Veon Bell has screwed up the Steelers' season 4 years in a row. Got suspended in 2015, suspended in 2016.
How did he screw them up last year, Carlton? How did he screw them up last year?
He held out until right before the start of the season. He had 10 carries the first game, Stephen A., because he wasn't ready to go.
Carlton, you are utterly ridiculous, and you should be ashamed of your damn self. The man had 321 carries on the season, 85 receptions, 406 touches for crying out loud. What the hell are you talking about? The workload that he put in last year.
I said he screwed up the start of the season. By the way, Stephen A., Todd Gurley is under contract for the Rams for the next 6 years for $11.5 million a year. Dave Johnson is under contract with the Cardinals for the next 4 years for $10 million a year. And Le'Veon Bell wants $17 million? By the way, Le'Veon Bell was absent from the playoffs in 2014, again in 2015, again in 2016, because he's injury-prone, Stephen A.
Let me tell
Nobody in their right mind is paying him $17 million. But the team that should take a look at him when
you can talk about injury-prone all you want to. Le'Veon Bell is arguably the best running back in football, and he was the second leading receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, maybe the number of 17 might be a bit too high, but the Steelers certainly could have offered him more guaranteed money that they did. 2 years in a row you held up. You know as well as I do, if not better, Carlton, that when you've got a guy, if you talk about the National Football League, particularly at the running back position, you could not have missed a game. You can be completely healthy. And the second your birth certificate says you're 30 years old, they think you're done. You got to get that money while you can get that money. I can't knock him for that.
You do, but he's been absent in the playoffs. He's messed up all of your preseasons or your beginning of your seasons for the last 4 years. He wants crazy amount of money that nobody else in the league is getting anywhere near it, and they are just done with him. But the team that should take a look at him because they got the cap space and they need a running back, and it would be a good compliment to their quarterback, is the Indianapolis Colts. But, you know, anyway, Max isn't swift enough to figure out who could even sign him.
Nice.
But one last thing. You named the top 5 potential rookies of the year, and you neglected to mention the Steelers safety Terrell Edmonds. If he can fix that that secondary, they might actually get to the Super Bowl.
I think he's good. I just don't know if he'll be a top 5 rookie. But I think he's good. You might have a point there, Carlton.
He's a sleeper.
And if you do, I'll stand corrected.
He's a sleeper.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back with your calls to close out the show in a minute. You're listening live to the Stephen A. Smith Show. ESPN Radio, ESPN News.
Did you know ADT can design and install a smart home just for you? A new smart home at your service, customized for your lifestyle. ADT professionals can even show you how to use your new smart home features. Now, that's what I call warm-up service. It's all controlled from the ADT app or the sound of your voice and backed by 24/7 protection. Visit ADT.com/smart to learn more about how ADT can help keep your home safe and smart.
Guess what? You're in the middle of the Stephen A. Smith Show podcast.
Damn it, I mean it! Barbasol is finally making razors. That's a no-brainer. Check out the Barbasol Ultra 6 Plus with 6 ultra-thin blades. Save on the Ultra 6 Plus at Barbasol.com. Plus, fellas, you've been sitting around for too long. Whether you want to get to a game, NFL, college football, MLB, or a concert, look no further than Vivid Seats, the official ticket partner of ESPN. Go to VividSeats.com and enter promo code ESPN to get 10% off your offer. The other thing I wanted to mention is football season is finally underway, and if you play fantasy football, the odds are you probably already hate your team and wish you could draft again. Well, with FanDuel, you can draft a new team every week. They even have a new tool called Guru to help you pick your lineup so you can make smarter picks and feel more confident going into game day. And FanDuel has made it easy to find your friends and challenge them to play head-to-head contests for cash or bragging rights. New users get a $20 bonus when they make their first deposit on FanDuel. So come play with me at FanDuel.com/Stephen A. That's with a PH, not a V. 888-SAY-ESPN. It's 888-729-3776. Back to the phones we go. Brian, you're live with Stephen A. Talk to me. What's up?
Stephen A., what's good with you? This, from Philly.
What's up, man? Go ahead, bro.
Stephen A., I love you. You my old head, but I got to tell you about yourself. I'm a Niners fan. I believe these next 5 games, we're gonna go 5-1. I'm gonna say Jimmy. He probably throw for 3,000, maybe 4, and we're gonna knock out the LA Cannon Spams, the Arizona Sandpaper, and the Seattle.
Well, let me ask you a question. Let me ask y'all a question, okay? First of all, you know what my nickname for him is, right? Porn Star Jimmy. That's what I call him. Porn Star Jimmy.
Hold on.
Ain't nothing wrong with it. Hey, wait. It's not an insult. I'm not insulting him at all. It's actually very complimentary. I don't have no problem with him, but he is Porn Star Jimmy. You go out with a porn star on Melrose Boulevard or wherever the hell he was in California, knowing that the paparazzis are there. I'm not beyond the pale calling him Porn Star Jimmy. He did that, not me. Now, I'm not knocking him, but that's what he did. He went out with a porn star knowing the paparazzis were watching. That's why I call him Porn Star Jimmy. It's just that simple. Now, having said all of that, let's be clear. He can play. He's 5-0 as a starter in San Francisco. He's 2-0 with New England. Then he comes into this season, and now with them having an off-season and training camp and preseason to prepare, he got spanked by a big-time defense in the Minnesota Vikings. That doesn't mean that he can't play. It doesn't mean 49ers won't have a good season. But what it does mean is we need to pump the brakes on acting like this dude, if he goes to the toilet and poops, it's actually gold. Like he's Austin Power or somebody. This dude is suspect just like anybody else. He had no business being perceived as the heir apparent to Tom Brady just yet. Oh my goodness, why did the New England Patriots hold on to Tom Brady? He's no Tom Brady, not yet. That's all I'm trying to say, bro. I don't think that's an insult.
Listen, Stephen A., I call him Jimmy Guac. Salute, he was chilling with mama, that's their business. You see what I'm saying? But,
Whoa. Stop. You're not being fair. In all due respect, Brian, you're not being fair. Ain't nobody get into his business. I didn't say what they were doing. I didn't say anything. But when I call him Porn Star Jimmy, well, that's what you did. What? Let me ask you a question. This summer, I got my producer shaking his head. He's all nervous because I said, I don't care. Here's the deal. What was he known for doing this entire offseason, Brian? In fairness to me, what was Jimmy Garoppolo known for doing this entire offseason?
I mean, he was known for, signing with the Niners.
Signing for $137 million and going out with the porn star.
Out there chilling, doing that.
I'm just saying, I'm not knocking him. But look, when you're known for that, and then you get spanked by the Minnesota Vikings, I mean, that's a problem. All I'm saying is, listen, let me be very, very clear again. It is not an insult. The nickname is not a derogatory one. I don't have a problem not insulting him. The man went out with a porn star in Hollywood with paparazzis around. Calling him porn star Jimmy is not an insult. It's just not. It's just not. Have a nice day, Brian. Appreciate it. But that's his nickname for me. And I'm not apologizing for it. I'm not calling him one. I'm saying that's what he went out with. That happens to be factual. And damn it, I don't have a problem with him. To each his own. Let's get back to the phones. Let's go to James. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, James?
Stephen A., love the show. How you doing?
I'm good, man. Talk to me.
All right, I got a dilemma, a fantasy football dilemma. I got Zach, and he's playing horribly. My question is, on a short week, should I play Andy Dalton tonight, who's only had 4 days rest since playing on Sunday, and bench Zach? That's my question for you.
That's a tough one. Let me tell you why it's a tough one. Because that short week might make the Baltimore Ravens more susceptible to Andy Dalton and A.J. Green. But then it might make Cincinnati, and its offense more susceptible to Baltimore's defense. So that's tight. Not to mention the fact that Dak Prescott might show out Sunday night against the Giants because it's an NFC East divisional, NFC East divisional regular season game. It's in Dallas, if I remember correctly. And look, they're going against the Giants.
And it's their home opener.
So I would tell you to go with Dak before Andy Dalton.
Listen, all right, that's what I needed to know. I had a couple hours to make a decision.
Since I called Jimmy Garoppolo porn star Jimmy, do you know what my nickname is for Andy Dalton?
No.
Richie Cutting-Hair. Remember him? Happy Days?
Yeah, way back then.
Right. That's what I call Andy Dalton. Richie Cutting-Hair. He'll be all right. We'll see. I say go with Dak. Ride the wave with Dak, man. Appreciate the call. All right? Let's go to my man Carlton. You're live with Stephen A. What's up, buddy? How are you?
Oh, my God. Taking days off, hanging out in Vegas. It must be nice to be Stephen A., huh?
Hold on, Carlton. The Hurricanes, first of all, I want you to be safe, assuming that you're going to be susceptible to those hurricanes out there. Be safe, you and your family and your loved ones. I'm wishing everybody nothing but the safest weekend imaginable. But you know how that goes. When a hurricane is coming and stuff like that, flights get delayed. If I waited till the last flight out after my radio show, I might not have made it out here to Vegas. That was the problem.
Yeah. All right.
Come on, man. You know I'm a workaholic. You've never called me lazy, Carlton. You called me many
things. Life being Stephen A. there. Anyway, you know what I'm calling about today? I'm calling to defend John Gruden and the Oakland Raiders and Mike Tomlin and the Pittsburgh Steelers from that numbnuts that you got as a co-host on First Take, okay? So let me explain something to Max.
Go ahead.
Let me explain something to Max Kellerman, okay, who doesn't know his butt from his brains when it comes to NFL. The reason why John Gruden released Martavius Bryant and then re-signed him is because when he released him, there's no question about guaranteeing his full-year salary as a veteran.
Right.
And by picking him back up, even if he gets suspended, the Oakland Raiders have his contract rights for next year. So when Max says, if Martavius Bryant gets suspended by the NFL, it's a clown show in Oakland. He doesn't even understand the whole mechanics of what John Gruden was doing. Gruden wants to maintain control over Martavius Bryant.
Well, I understand that, and I think that at one point Max did point that out accurately.
No, he didn't. He doesn't know it, Stephen A.
Let me say this to you. I know it, but I didn't care. I still believe that it's ridiculous that John Gruden would bring Martavius Bryant back because you're talking about the impact inside of a locker room. As far as I'm concerned, I'm not thinking about bringing Martavius back until I am assured he won't get suspended. That's my philosophy.
Well, the other idiot thing that Max keeps saying is that the Green Bay Packers ought to go get Le'Veon Bell. The Green Bay Packers have $3 million in available cap space, Stephen A. And by the way, nobody should go get Le'Veon Bell for the $17 million that he wants. Le'Veon Bell has screwed up the Steelers' seasons 4 years in a row. Got suspended in 2015, suspended in 2016.
How did he screw them up last year, Carlton? How did he screw them up last year?
He held out until right before the start of the season. He had 10 carries the first game, Stephen A., because he wasn't ready to go.
Carlton, you are utterly ridiculous, and you should be ashamed of your damn self. Hey. The man had 321 carries on the season, 85 receptions, 406 touches, for crying out loud. What the hell are you talking about? The workload that he put in last year.
I said he screwed up the start of the season. By the way, Stephen A., Todd Gurley is under contract for the Rams for the next 6 years for $11.5 million a year. Dave Johnson is under contract with the Cardinals for the next 4 years for $10 million a year. And Le'Veon Bell wants $17 million? By the way, Le'Veon Bell was absent from the playoffs in 2014, again in 2015, again in 2016, because he's injury-prone, Stephen A.
Let me tell you,
nobody in their right mind is paying him $17 million.
You
but
can
the
talk
team
about
should
injury.
Take a look at him when
you
the
can talk
Steelers
about
get
injury prone all you want to. Le'Veon Bell is arguably the best running back in football, and he was the second leading receiver on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, maybe the number of 17 might be a bit too high, but the Steelers certainly could have offered him more guaranteed money that they did. 2 years in a row you held up. You know as well as I do, if not better, Carlton, that when you've got a guy, if you talk about the National Football League, particularly at the running back position, you could not have missed a game. You can be completely healthy, and the second your birth certificate says you're 30 years old, they think you're done. You got to get that money while you can get that money. I can't knock him for that.
You do, but he's been absent in the playoffs. He's messed up all of your preseasons or your beginning of your seasons for the last 4 years. He wants crazy amount of money that nobody else in the league is getting anywhere near it, and they are just done with him. But the team that should take a look at him, because they got the cap space and they need a running back, and it would be a good compliment to their quarterback, is the Indianapolis Colts. But, you know, anyway, Max isn't swift enough to figure out who could even sign him.
Nice.
But one last thing. You named the top 5 potential rookies of the year, and you neglected to mention the Steelers safety Terrell Edmonds. If he can fix that secondary, they might actually get to the Super Bowl.
I think he's good. I just don't know if he'll be a top 5 rookie. But I think he's good. You might have a point there, Carlton.
He's a sleeper.
And if you do, I'll stand corrected.
He's a sleeper.
All right, buddy. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Thanks a lot.